Welcome to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.
Hello, my name is Lorraine Garvey of District 32, and I'm absolutely delighted to be interviewing and speaking with Mike McKenzie today. How are you, Mike?
Good, thank you, Lorraine.
Mike, you are a mortgage broker, and we are having this conversation because you are such an active member of District 32 community. You're out there, you're setting examples of how to do business, what not to do in business, more how to do business. And I just love to get to know you a little bit more. So welcome today. Really happy. So let's start then. Mike, how did you get into mortgage broking?
I sort of fell into mortgage broking. I was a FIFO worker for 15 years and my boy was having his first birthday. And I realised on a 2-on-1 roster, I'd missed 2/3 of his life. So I was trying to figure out a way of how to get into another job that brings me back to the city. And literally a week later, I was on site and my rigger was refinancing his house. And he said, Mike, I've got no idea what I'm doing. Can you please have a look and explain it to me? So I explained to him the entire contract. And then from that sort of conversation, he was like, you're really good at this. You should have a go at it. And then I sort of got became a mortgage broker.
Wow. So we say you accidentally fall into these things, but we don't. We do it after setting an intention, that's what you want to do. And then we can see the opportunities arise. So good for you. You're very passionate about what you do.
100%. As I said, the first thing I did as a mortgage broker was refinance my own home loans. And I saved myself $800 over a month over 2 different home loans that I had. And
wow.
And I was awesome. And that type of money saving for myself as a young family, that is what I want to do to help other young families, because I realised that if you don't know that much about finance, you're expecting other people to help you out. When they drop the ball, then you struggle for the next couple of months. So that's why I want to try and help as many families as I possibly can to give them the ease and the financial burden.
Which I think is just great. And I think that the thing that amazes me here is because people just are not aware. I love being in the business community, right? In the business community, we're surrounded by professionals. We've got your accountants, your marketing, your brokers, and we always know what's happening in the world and what's happening with the banks and the interest rates. But your people who are not out networking all the time don't know what's happening, don't know what's available to them. And what you shared with me before is, that you can actually go in and help someone review and reduce their interest rates and their monthly payments by not changing their provider or their bank. Which is phenomenal.
Yeah, because what happens is a lot of the time banks are always chasing new business and they forget about their old clients. That's where you get the loyalty tax you might see on a Facebook post. So by doing a simple pricing request or changing their structure, a lot of banks sign people up to honeymoon loans. So you've got a very low interest rate for the first 1 to 2 years and then it jacks up on you. If you know to ask the question, you can change to another product with that same bank, and that will save you a couple of $100 a month. But obviously, when you go direct with the bank is not going to tell you how to save money from paying them interest. So they just leave you there until you get ready to leave. And that's why you need an independent broker on your side to assist you in trying to save as much money as possible. Because I'm just as happy getting paid the same amount, whether you're paying a high interest rate or low interest rate. So it's in my best interest to keep you happy. So I continually look at ways to save you money with your current bank or if there's a better deal out there in the market.
100%. And the beauty of it is, as well as of using a mortgage broker, is the Joe Blogs homeowner doesn't pay.
Exactly. So the banks pay me a loan processing fee. So the client never has to pay me for it and I get paid by the banks. And what a lot of people don't realise is that when you walk into one of the major 4 banks, they can look at your situation and they can only give you a product based on what they can give you. So they've only got 4 or 5 options. So if you don't fit those 4 or 5 options, you can't get finance.
Yeah.
As a mortgage broker, I work with 45 different banks. So there's a very good chance that where the bank you're dealing with might not be able to help you, I can then find you an option that will be better for you and help you with a low interest rate.
And which again, most people don't know that. And I think it was through yourself as well that we realised that, sometimes, especially as business owners, right? As business owners, you might not have the payroll slips that look as nice and neat as you do as an employee. They're looking for different sets of documents and stuff. And if you keep trying to apply for yourself and then you get a knockback, that looks bad on your record. But if we come through a broker, we can save all that heartache, and which banks and establishments are going to need which documentation.
Definitely. So self-employed people are a lot harder to get home loans for, mainly because they all have very good accountants and we try to minimise how much tax we pay. But the problem with that is that if you do make $500,000 for the year, it's a great year, but you only pay yourself $50,000 because you want to be in that lower tax bracket, I can only get you a home loan for $250,000. So that's where, if we know which bank we're going to, there's about 4 or 5 banks out there that will use 1 year financials. So I'll have a lot of conversations with my self-employed clients in May, have a chat to their accountants, and we make sure we can boost what they get paid in that one financial year, get them the home loan, and then they can go back into trying to minimise tax again.
Which is, is a great idea to sit down and talk with a broker, with yourself, before you're thinking about buying a house, to make sure that your financials are in order so that you can be in the best possible position by the time you go and apply for that mortgage.
Yeah, 100%. And while I can't give any advice, I do work with a lot of good accountants in District 32. So I use that to assist. But where I'm different to your average broker is that when I was 19, I bought my first house and land package. When I was 23, I bought my first investment house. Wow. I bought my first development block when I was 25. I split that, sold the front house off, built a new house at the back. And then when I was 29, I bought an 8-unit development site in a trust. So while I'm not allowed to give financial advice or accounting advice, I know the questions that are going to be asked. So when I sit down and talk to my clients, I know the best structure for them. And then I say, if you don't have a good accountant, I have someone, because these are the structures you need to play with. And while I can't give you the advice, I know who to send you to get that advice.
I think that's just phenomenal, because we want to work with people who've walked the talk.
Exactly.
Yeah? We don't want somebody, a keyboard warrior. We want someone out there who's been there, got the scars, got the war stories. What were you doing in a job, Mike? You're just retired in your investments, right?
and that's how I fell into mortgage broking, because I'd done quite a lot of it myself, hands-on experience, and it was just that last little push I needed to, I should actually give this a go, because the mortgage broker that was working for my rigger at the time didn't explain anything of the contract, did no education. And currently at the moment, I'm working with an accountant and launching a webinar. And then we're also working with my marketing guy at the moment, and we're doing blogs and educational posts as well to try and increase that learning for my clients.
That's brilliant. And Mike, and let us know when you're doing that, by the way, and we'll share it through the network, those webinars, because it's hot information. Everybody needs to know this stuff. What would you say to somebody, Mike, who is considering buying a property? They don't know what the market is. People are scared of interest rates at the minute. They might be a little bit hesitant to either buy their first property or their second property. And I know you're not, you might have to give a disclaimer for advice there, but what is your opinion? What are you saying to some of your clients at the minute?
Okay, so first thing I'm saying to clients is, if we're looking to buy in WA, it's a good time to buy. Okay. So I work with a lot of property guys that give me inside information. So we know that what's happening with all the sales data, we're not building enough homes at the moment because of the extreme shortage we've had with buildings. We have a massive undersupply, vacancy rates are very low, rents going through the roof. So while Sydney and Melbourne might be declining in price over the next 12 to 18 months, Perth is going to hold steady or increase. So how I have that conversation with my clients, and then I also chat to them and say, when you find the property you're looking at, please tell me the address. And then I go into Property Hub and do a suburb search for them and get them all the data about their suburb, as well as giving them a dynamic property link, which shows them all the inside information of who bought the house, when they bought it, how long ago they bought it, how long it's been on the market. Because you'll see a lot of real estate agents going, this house has been on the market for 10 days, get in now before someone else snaps it up. But I can go back and see that this house has been on the market for 2.5 years and they just relisted it 3 months ago. So I've got all the information, can tell you how much the done price drops. And that's how I give my clients the advantage of when they're trying to negotiate with the seller. And not so much at the moment when the market's so hot, but 2 years ago, I was saving most of my clients $10,000 to $15,000 because they knew when they could lowball the seller because they knew that they had the upper hand. Not so much now because the market's so hot, but at least now they know what to do and have an educated guess.
Wow. Mike, thank you very much. I just thank you for sharing your journey into broking. Thank you for sharing your tips. Thank you for sharing, and we want to let the general population out there know what we can do and how much money we can save just by reviewing the existing, existing product that you have with your bank. And then, the advice there on it's a good time to buy in WA. I think everybody wants to hear that. So
yes, definitely. So just before you go, the other thing, because we didn't talk about refinancing. If I can just jump into that quickly. A lot of my clients I had to take to the big four banks due to policy 2 years ago. And right now, Perth has gone up roughly 25% since COVID hit. So if I do free valuations for my clients, if we have 25% equity, there are second-tier lenders out there that are offering interest rates 1% lower than what I would have got you with the big banks 2 years ago. So anyone that's with a big four bank over 2 years definitely can refinance to get you a better deal. And obviously the rates are going up 0.5% every month at the moment, but it's still relative. Whatever the big four banks offering you now, I can beat it by 1%. So there's definitely a great, and I said, it doesn't cost you a cent for my services, free valuations, and half the time this bank offers to help you with that $2,000 to $3,000 refinancing costs. But by saving 1% off your mortgage, you're looking at saving $50,000 to $100,000 over 30 years. So it pays for itself very quickly.
Wow, that 1%, huh?
25% equity, second tier bank you've probably never heard of, but they want that type of business. But before we didn't have that equity in Perth, but now we do.
Wow. Stuff you just don't know. And every time I talk to you, Mike, I just learn a little bit more. So it's a never ever changing landscape out there.
That it is. It's always on the ball. I get 50 emails every day with different policies, everything's changing on a constant basis in the finance world.
Wow. Mike, again, thank you very much for sharing your wisdom, your nuggets here. I'm really looking forward to sharing this on my own profile so that we can let people know what's available. And there, are you okay? I'll just put your contact details in the video when I share it. Is that all right for people to get in contact with you?
Yeah, fantastic. I'll even give you my booking appointment calendar link so I can link straight into have a quick 15-minute
Beautiful. Thank you very much. We'd absolutely love that. Mike McKenzie, thank you very much. Love your work. And I look forward to chatting in the very near future.
Thanks, Dwayne. Talk soon.
I'll speak soon, Mike. Thank you. Bye.
You've been listening to District 32, immersion, inspiration for ambitious business owners with big dreams.